Okay, the public course request module allows the students to be able to put in their requests. All the courses have to be created with the grade level appropriate for the students. If you say English 10 is only available to English 10 on that courses, you need to make sure that it only has 10th grade. If not, other grades will be able to see it. So that is one thing that is very important. So when we've already done that, we have our course groups. Remember, course groups have to be requested by the course group ID. So whatever you put in there, for example, my biology 1 and my biology 2 was 510. So the students would have to request 510. If they requested 510A and 510B, that's not the course group. Okay. This next step, task 2, has to be completed before the students can get into the system. So 1, you want to make sure that you're in the future school year. And then you're going to, under management, school administration, our public administration, and our application configuration. Okay, this defaults to the current school year, this context and options. We want to make sure that it is our future school year because that's what they are registering for. So the 25-26 school year. Okay. The student validation method, they get a specific username and a password. This would be if you want something additional. Student social security numbers have been removed from the system, so that's not going to work. And if you want their student ID number, you can use that if they know what it is. But most people keep it on none since it is password protected. Guardian access, I don't know of any district that is giving guardians access so they can look at the requests and so forth. If you want that, that's your option. Let me know. I can go through that with you and look into it more. The dates of availability. So when are students going to be able to put in these course requests? So, maybe you're going to start the first week in March. Make sure you have the correct year in context. If you're going to start, March 3rd and they're going to go all the way through, I don't know, April 15th. Oops, which is the wrong year. Okay, so that's how long it's open. So when their username and their password is available. So if it's outside of that date, if it's March 2nd and they try to sign in, it's not going to let them. Typically you give them something, so you're not posting a course catalog or something. It might be on your school website. You might have a hard copy for them, whatever it might be. They don't need parental approval. If you're allowing them to have alternate courses. So again, this would be, if they are requesting Spanish and then the alternate course would be French. Are they allowed to use that or not? Okay, so and remember that alternate course is course specific. So just because, with this foreign language, they're requesting an alternate, that doesn't mean they'll get an alternate for English. How many credits? So how many do they have to require or request? So 3, 4, 5. Sometimes with sports, they have to have 5. So you might want to change that. And how many are they allowed to add up to? So a max up to 10. So that's up to you. So you might only have 8 periods in the day. You want them to only have 7. So you can put max allowed as 7. And then if they can, if the course, so for example, my English 10 had the prerequisite of English 9. Are you enforcing that or not? So if you are enforcing that, put a check mark there. And then I don't know. I just have this highlighted that you always want to do warn. So it'll warn you if there is something wrong. But it'll still put the request through for you to be able to approve it or not approve it versus preventing it from actually even going through. Because you would want to see what is happening with that student. What are they allowed to? So by default, it's allowing classes. Are you allowing them to request a lunch, or are you just bulk assigning? I already bulk assigned my lunch to all my 10th graders, so they don't need to request it, but they might want CCP. So I want to make sure CCP is scheduled. You would not want study halls if you don't want them to apply for study halls, if you're going to assign those on your own. And then I would hit save. Must be greater. Oh, thank you. So this should match, which was what, 4/15/2025. I'm like, I knew I caught that one, the year. Okay, so now that that is set up, now you will want to generate the accounts. So I'm going to go back to my management. Okay. I'm going to go back into school administration, the public administration. And now this time I'm going to go to account generation. So remember, this had to be done first before you can generate your accounts. Maybe I did not click on it. Okay, so what is the account type? Again, I don't know anybody using the Guardian one, so I'm just going to leave it on student only. Okay. The lifespan, it's date limited. It's going to be based on those dates. This is when their account is active. Okay. So it's from today through 2026, which seems like a little far away, but that is the last day of my school year. So when we did SYI, we put in the calendar wizard. So if you want this to change and say, hey, I only want it good to the beginning of school because I don't want them putting in any more requests, I can say we'll just say August 25th. Existing accounts. Okay. Reset will replace any existing accounts with a new username and password. Existing accounts, if you say ignore, this leaves the existing one, and I can guarantee students don't remember from one year to the next. Okay, Scott's laughing, but we know that happens. So you, majority of the time, you are going to say reset. So that gives them the new username, the new password. Okay. So I'm going to leave it as the student search. Okay. So I can search by students. It's going to show everybody, my active and my non-residents. Oops. If you wanted to do it for a specific homeroom or a specific grade level, you can do it that way. And then I'm going to say preview my students. Scroll all the way down. Here are all my students. And here are their accounts. Okay. So if I want to, I can create the accounts from here. Okay. Because I doubt I'm going to sit here and tell each of my students this. I'm actually going to use clarinet. Okay. So I'm going to click on create accounts. If there is a student. Oh, wait. I can't uncheck my students. I'm in this school year. But there's no checkbox. Well, we're just going to create the account. There should be checkbox so you can uncheck anybody if you don't want to create an account for them. Oh, did I not? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Reset. Thank you. Preview students. There we go. Now we're talking. I talked about it, but I didn't change it. Okay. So now I want to create all these accounts. Sure. I'm going to create. So now my accounts are created. Okay. And then what I want to do is create the information letter for my students. So I'm just going to go back one level. And then I am going to go to my account information letter. So we're going to leave these as wildcards. I'm going to do it for my 10th graders. You can do it for all grade levels or one specifically at a time. I'm doing this for my students only because I'm not doing parents. This is what I'm going to say, you know, dear student. There is an example in, it's on the documents page, but there's an example with some verbiage, on there. So you can copy and paste that. You can put the direct link so the students can log in. So under student services, here is the public, so the request. So if you want to copy and paste that directly into it, you know, we can put that verbiage into here. Blah, blah, blah. And then here's my website. So it's going to separate it by grade, then last name. And I'm going to hit submit. Okay. So my letters were all created for all of my students. So you can give them out one by one. So let me find, okay. So then they're going to go to that website so then they can log in. Please note, and this is in the documentation, please note they do not use O's for passwords. They only use zeros. So if you see a password, for example, like mine here, this is only going to be a 0. Okay. So then I can log in to the public module. So let me do some copying and pasting here. Why is she not going in? They should be able to type in the course codes. I am in the right spot. It honestly does work. Okay. I'm gonna move. Well, I can't because let me see if I could get in with Timber. But see, I can't even log out. Oh, there. Okay. Let me go to Timber. Did I miss something? Well, I'm not sure, and there's not a snapshot to give you, but they should be able to search for the course or by the course code, and then they can add the request. So this is going to make it hard to show the next part, because once they have them, it's going to show all the requests. So, you know, maybe they did English 9, they wanted a computer class, they wanted weightlifting, and so forth. Yeah, but they have requests, yeah. But this is where the student can request.
Sure, I was just hoping that something would pop up because you already had some requests in for them.
Yeah, so it should show the lunch. Let's look at, well, we did bacon. It should show. I must have missed something on the, administration page. Yeah, I had to miss something. So let me explain this, because once the students, request them, there will be a submit button. So the student still has to submit, and this is the biggest thing that the students forget to do. So what that means is when we're looking here at my students, so let me get Timber back in. So when I'm looking at the student's request screen, if they are using the public module, where I manually put these in, a student is going to come across if it comes from the module, and it allows me to approve it. Okay. So if it says students pending, that means that they haven't gone through and actually submitted through the module. So the submit, they would still have to click on that. And that's where that one report, the uncommitted review report, will show any students that has not submitted completely. So then those are going to populate for the students, and then you can approve them if you would like to. Okay.
The things of application availability, didn't you have like March? You didn't open it.
I did. Thank you.
I still
Yep.
have the screen open and that's what I had. I was gonna run it for you and I'm like, wait a minute, I think Shelley's dates were like way in the future.
Yeah, you are absolutely right.
Tempting.
3-3. So let's do it 2-3. Okay, now. There we go. Yay. Okay, so here's Chris Bacon. So you can see, remember, I did the 10th grade, I did everything. I assigned it to all the kids, so they can't do anything with this. So see, you can see it's locked. They can't change it. So they can search by course or specific course code. If they know the codes, they can put those in there. So if they know that he's doing 510, he can search for that, and there it is. Okay. So this is the part where they forget. So he searched for it, he found it, but I guess it says request the selected courses. So once they click on that, okay, now when I go over here, and I was on bacon, so let me switch to bacon. And let's look at his requests. Okay. So now it says student pending. And then I have to do, I have not met the requirements yet. So let's look, let's add another one. Let's do 030. Yeah, I did. I don't have enough yet. What were my other ones? Where's my paper? Let's do Spanish. That one. And you can separate them by commas. You can just keep going through. Oops. Okay. So I should have enough now. Review. Okay. And now here's where it says the submit. Okay. So if they get to this process, okay, so they've requested everything and they do not hit submit, it's going to stay student pending. Once they hit submit here, I did not get an error, correct? Ooh. Okay. So now it should switch here and they came across. Okay, so then if I'm okay with them, I can leave them. If I need to assign them, I can assign them. If I'm going to run the batch scheduler, it's going to fit into their schedule the best that they can. Okay, so that's bringing in from that public module. And then again, you can run that if you want to see any that the student is pending, that is task number 5. That is looking at those uncommitted requests. We already looked at that report. So you can see that, and you can either have the students go back in to make sure that they've submitted. You can go in and submit for them if you want to, because you have all of the IDs. And there is one more thing that I wanted to show you. It is when we are doing the letters. Let me go back to that real quick. So I showed you how to print the letters, so you can print these all for each of the students individually. It might have the directions, but you're not going to print one for every student yourself. And here's that uncommitted requests as well. But when you are generating the letters, so if I look down at the bottom, instead of saying PDF, I'm going to say Excel spreadsheets. And once I hit submit, now I have a list of all my students. Okay. Their names, I have their usernames, and I have their passwords. So again, it's just a quick reference for you. If you're going to be working with the students, you would obviously give the students the bigger sheet with the individual documentation. And then that is for you, for that student. I lost my paper already. Here's their username and here's their password. Same report. It's just changing. Oops. It is just changing the output at the bottom from PDF to Excel spreadsheet. I don't think that's in the documentation. So you might just want to make a note on page 10. That is where it shows you how to generate the letters. You can just say, you can also change the format to a spreadsheet. Any questions with the public module? Sorry for that mistake at the beginning, but at least we got in. If anyone is new to the public module and it's something you're looking forward to doing this year, let me know. I can help you make sure everything is set up with the correct dates, making sure it's open. But so you can get in there and have your students start registering this way.